3, 2, 1, go!
17.3 is open and ready for fitness in the Lone Star State. We have 3 stud CrossFit Games athletes, Cole Sager, Scott PANCHIK, and your champ, Matt FRASER, making very quick work right out the gates, Bill.
Yeah, but look what Matt did. He was the last one to the bar. So he's taking it a little bit easier. Now, I was assuming that I'd see it a little bit more singles by Matt. And that's not even necessarily good form. Look how much he's bending over it. But again, I think he's using this as his warm-up into the event.
I mean, we talked about coming out hot.
Yeah.
You're going to start with 3 rounds, 6 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 6 squat snatches, 95 pounds for these guys, which, you know, I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of them clap in the air in between each one. This is a hyped crowd, one of the loudest ones we have ever seen for an open announcement. They got to reel it in the very beginning.
You know, and I could just hear in the crowd when everyone's talking about what this event was and when Dave was laying it out for everyone. It seemed really, really difficult to understand, but it really isn't. You just have to look at it in sets of 3 rounds. So you start off 6 chest-to-bar pull-ups and 6 squat snatches at that one weight, the 95 pounds for these guys. Jumping right into that second set, the 3 rounds, 7 chest-to-bar pull-ups and 5 squat snatches, and the weight goes up to 135. You got to do that under 8 minutes. This is not going to be a problem for these guys, but we may see that being an issue for some of the people back home when they're doing this event.
Athletes have 8 minutes to clear the first 2 sets of our chest-to-bar squat snatch couplet. Matt FRASER in the center part, red shirt, your champ, going for touch and go. 4 reps at a time and 2.
You know, Chase, when we heard what this event was, the first thing I thought about was, okay, what's your early pacing going to be? Because these first 2 sets, that set of 95 and the set of 135, is going to set you up for either success or failure as you get into those heavier weights. I think all these guys were assuming 95 pounds is no big deal, so they came out a little hotter than they were wanting to. If you can really relax and set that early pace, and that's going to save you dividends in the end. The other thing we have to look at is, are you going to miss any reps? And that doesn't necessarily mean a miss rep where you drop it when it gets heavier, but even a no rep. So they have to be consistent enough to really get each rep, slow down just a touch, make them all count, because you have to figure if you miss 1 rep, you're looking at anywhere from 10 seconds to 30 seconds wasted out of that 4 minutes that you're having to bank with. And then that mental focus. This is going to be, for the guys that have a heavy-duty snatch, a long event. We're looking at upwards, well, they're giving you a 24-minute clock, but we're probably going to see somewhere between an 18 and 20-minute clock. That's a long time to have breaks in between where you're constantly mentally resetting. All these guys are very experienced athletes, but if someone starts to miss or get tired or wondering why they're getting tired, when we see anything on their face, that may be that mental break that we're talking about, where one of these guys will have a chance to attack.
We're seeing the athletes work through their second set. They'll be doing 5 squat snatches at 135. Cole Sager has a little bit of a faster cycle time in the early portion of this event. Bill, like you said, not one of the guys with the heaviest lift of the 2, with Scott PANCHIK at 310, Matt FRASER at 315. So might be buying himself a little time, giving a little bit more room on those heavier loads.
Well, as long as he has the capacity to hold that. I mean, he's staying rep for rep basically with these guys, so he's really, really close, but is he going to be able to have that power left, you know, under the fatigue? These other guys have a heavier lift even when they're fatigued, so he's already undergunned. So he needs to know that it's okay to kind of kick back just a touch.
And Sager seems to be making up his time a lot on the pull-up rig, where Matt FRASER and Scott PANCHIK are a bit more conservative. We are in the second set, so it's 7 chest-to-bar pull-ups and 5 squat snatches at 135. And as we are approaching, the magic number is 72. And Bill, they had 8 minutes to get there, and they only needed 4. As they move from round 2 to the round of 3, we are upping the reps on the chest-to-bar pull-ups, 8 total each round, dropping your squat snatches to 4. 185 is the weight, and we haven't seen much breaking on the chest bars yet. And I know these guys are world class. You're talking about 1st, 5th, and 6th in the world at last year's games.
And that right there was something we were talking about. If you miss a rep or you get overexcited, that's going to cost you. That right there just cost him 15 seconds. And Chase, I think it might have something to do with what you're talking about, the pull-ups. The pull-ups are not big numbers for these guys to do, but they sneak up on you. So you're constantly pulling, and then all of a sudden you need to get to the heavier barbell and you need to be able to react to that.
And maybe another factor that they really didn't think about is you're going, 185 is not a heavy weight.
No.
But going from 135 to 185 is a bit more challenging than you would think.
A 50-pound jump is a big jump. Even if it's a lightweight, that's a very large jump. And I wouldn't be surprised if these guys would. And we saw Scott just hop down right there. That's a good break for him. These guys can break this in half and not lose a lot of time. Going unbroken like Matt's doing right there in the center, there really isn't the need to do that right now. There just isn't it's not going to serve the purpose that you want it to.
FRASER off the rig first, done with their first round, moving into the second round of the third set. 4 squat snatches at 185. Matt FRASER, Scott PANCHIK has made up ground as well as Cole SAGER on the far right side of your screen is now starting to break up his chest to bar pull-ups.
No, and Scott PANCHIK did break up his chest bar pull-ups, and Matt FRASER went unbroken. Cole slowed down a little bit. He did break up his chest bar. I think that was very smart. He needs to break everything right now. He needs everything. All the snatches should be single, which I don't expect there not to be that. But even be smart on his pull-ups. He could do sets of 2 and 3, and that's not going to slow him down. And plus, it will save him for the later reps.
Scott PANCHIK, left side of the screen, 5-second edge on Matt FRASER as they move into their third and final round of this third set in 17.3. The magic number is 12 for them to get to that tie-break time. They had 8 minutes to get through the first 2 sets. They did that in 4. We're seeing them take a little bit more time on this one as the reps are, again, the reps stay the same in total number each round, but the chest to bars increase as the snatches decrease.
So there we are, jumping up to that second set. The prior to 12-minute work that you have to do here. 3 rounds, 8 chest bars, like you were saying, chasing the 4 squat snatch at the 185. 4 minutes to do this. These guys have already banked time to get ahead. So they're already ahead of the game, which we knew they would be. Well,
Matt FRASER, Scott PANCHIK, we're talking about tenths of seconds difference. Done with the third set as we move towards the 4th set of 3 rounds. 9 chest to bar pull-ups, 3 squat snatches at 225.
And Matt just will not, he refuses to break those up. What? Okay, that was a little, I thought he was going to go for that. In fact, I think he would have kept going if he would have known what the number was. But you can see Scott is actually relaxing there in the black tank, the black shirt, top of the screen. He hits his 4, totally comes off and rests. Gives himself that time. I mean, they got time. Take a break. And this event really is about the snatch, so save your work for when you hit the snatch.
FRASER onto his first rep at 225, and he ain't gonna miss that one. Scott PANCHIK just to his left gets his first rep as Cole SAGER is working through his final set at 185. 3 total squat snatches. You know, I saw that lockout on Scott on that last one. That left arm's getting a little loose.
A little shaky. With Matt FRASER, it's like the heavier the weight gets, the more in sync he gets. That was a clean one by Scott.
I feel like that happens a lot with athletes. You know, you get to a certain lightweight, especially for snatch or overhead squat, where that 60 to 70% just feels like complete dog.
It's way harder than it needs to be, and I don't know if it's because you just don't give it enough respect. But yeah, we all had that speed bump in the road that you got to deal with.
Cole SAGER taking a breath before he starts his 4th set as FRASER and PANCHIK are working into the second round of their 4th set. But that is what Cole SAGER needs to do. He can't play the game that Scott and Matt are currently playing. And it's just totally because that's not the athlete he is. When you put those heavy barbells, he can move them well. In fact, he can move them better than 99.9% of us, especially us talking behind the booth here. But when you're talking about 2 of the best in the world when it comes to this on the CrossFit level, it's hard to keep up.
Well, and one of the things that Cole is very good at and has used the last year of training with Ben Bergeron is really focusing and putting those blinders on to where he does his own event. Doesn't worry where anybody else is. He just goes to perform his performance. And I mean, I think that's what's been his hallmark for all those comebacks, being able to keep to that focus. Wow, so here we are with the prior to 16-minute work. 9 chest bar pull-ups and those 3 squat snatches at 225. And these guys are making short work of this. They really are.
We're talking about the single reps per round. Okay, 9, no problem. 3 snatches, I could do that, you know? Well, maybe not me, but but let's talk about the total volume up until this point. They're 10 minutes into a workout that has not been a slow start.
Right.
The volume of chest to bar pulls they've done up until this point is really going to start to catch up to people, and they may not really understand how much they're doing to this point.
I mean, look at Matt Fraser's score, 141 reps. By the time they get done with this set, they would have already done 90 chest bar pull-ups and 53 squat snatches. That is a lot. And you don't really think of the compounding effect of that until you're sitting in the event. When you're sitting on the front side of it, it's like, oh, 95 pounds, 135 pounds, not a big deal. But that's why that early pacing is important. Being able to set yourself up for success in these later rounds when you really need the gas.
Fraser, the right side of your screen, still holding on to that lead over Scott PANCHIK, and he will be done with his 4th set at the 11-minute mark. Though Scott PANCHIK is still maintaining within about 10 to 15 seconds of Matt. He looks comfortable in the snatch. They have a heavy weight coming up. It's getting real for this set.
The one thing that Scott has in his favor is Matt's very aware of where everyone is. So you can see Matt does that. He kind of hunches down onto his haunches there, his ankles, and watches. That's where if Scott wants to make a move, he has to do it when Matt sits down. He's got to push Matt. Not that Matt can't go hard. We already know what his abilities and capacities are. It's insane. But every time Matt goes down, Scott has to push and make him stand back up. That's just another squat that he's forcing Matt to do.
Fraser taking a break in the center of the competition floor as he moves to his first attempt at 245 pounds. And it looks like the anomaly was that one miss at 185. And Bill, I don't usually say this, but maybe 185 was just too darn light for him.
You know what? For him, it was too darn light. He did that without any issue at the regionals with an unbelievable time starting at 185. And again, I think that was just a little bit of, I don't want to say jitters, because, I mean, he's a very experienced CrossFit athlete. He's been in this situation before, but look how relaxed. He looks better now than he did earlier. So I'm just going to say that that was part of his warm-up.
Scott PANCHIK done with his 2nd rep at 245, looking very strong. Cole SAGER finishes his round at 225, still on the outside looking in. Now SAGER does have to look out because now we're looking at his 16-minute cap when it comes to that 225, where Matt and Scott have 20 minutes to get through their 5th set.
Yeah, again, Cole needs to play his game. He needs to really understand his body and know just how long he can sit. Can't wait too long even on those pull-ups. But again, it's that balance. It's that balance between that rest and that work ratio.
Fraser seems to be resting a little bit less now from the pull-up bar to the snatch. I guess he finally found his comfortable weight, Bill, at 245.
You know, the other thing is this, the way Matt works, the way we've seen him work, especially last year in the game, is when he sees blood, the guy goes on attack, almost kind of in you, like, now I'm going to smash you. I saw you break, I saw you rest, I'm going to smash you now.
But when you look at this event, 245, 265, jump right off the page. There's little advantage for Matt to blow it out too soon on the 185 and 225 when he knows that 245, the time you actually increase on someone that has trouble with that will be much more greater than those lighter lifts.
Yeah, you know, but Scott is a very worthy opponent. I mean, he just jumped his 1 rep max up to 310 this last year at the Pan Am Olympic lifting last year. So, I mean, he is just as good as Matt with that, but I think Matt just has the confidence. This is Matt, you know, we always talk about his background as an Olympic lifter. He's a CrossFitter, obviously, now. But when you have that old school body mechanics, that's what your body does, guess what? You're gonna kick right into your mode of what you always do.
Fraser done with 1 rep. 1 more to go before he will go into his final set. As Matt Fraser making quick work at 245, and he'll be done. And all that is left is 3 rounds, 11 chest to bar pull-ups, and 1 squat snatch at 265. Scott PANCHIK just 2 reps behind.
Wow. You know, again, we're looking at that chest bar pull-up like it's a big number. That's not even what I'm looking at. But Scott Panchik saw that, a miss. So watch the clock tick right here. Watch the clock tick. Not only does he have to go back and recover, he's going to chalk. Mentally now, we talked about that mental fortitude. What is that going to do to you? Now he's thinking, man, there's no way I'm going to be able to catch Matt. I got to be able to regroup. That right there was 20 seconds.
He just needed to take a little bit more time before he hit that rep. Looked very comfortable. And Cole Sager got under the 16 cap, and he is on to his first rep at 245 as Panchik will lock out his last rep at 225, and he'll move into his fifth set as Matt Fraser, your 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games champion, slowly makes his way to 265.
Look at that. He steps right up like it's 185. There isn't even a look of concern. Makes that look too easy.
Matt Fraser, first rep, 265. Cole Sager will hit 245, and that is big for Cole Sager. Into our last set, 11 chest to bar pull-ups, 1 squat snatch at 265. And Bill, they've already done 120 chest to bar pull-ups and throw another 60 squat snatches at them at the same time.
That number is huge, and nobody, when Dave listed this workout, they did not look at that. They looked at, oh, 95 pounds, 135, that's okay. I can hang somewhere in the middle. They didn't see that if you are actually, and guess what? We finally have a workout where these athletes, the bigger, stronger athletes, get to come in here and go to work. It's not all body weight, light, 50-pound stuff. Man, now we get to see that and their body weight ability.
Fraser's second rep at 265 is good as he can take his time walking back and forth, although we know all too well, especially for these open announcements, these are your guinea pigs going into the next 4 days of competition.
How many people do you think are out of the gate thinking, oh man, I'm gonna get in that 245. I'm gonna get in that 245. Look at the difficulty that Cole Sager is having in that 245, like he just made it in there, you know. And Cole, 5th at the games last year, 7th at the games the year before, has a 275 snatch, an amazing athlete. This is going to change some people's perceptions, definitely.
Fraser is done with his final set of chest to bar pull-ups as he re-chalks and re-grips on his wrist straps as he makes his way to his final rep here in San Antonio, Texas. 265, 1 squat snatch left to go. And Matt Fraser will take 17.3.
Wow. Unbelievable job.
18 minutes in, Scott Panchik gets his second rep. I tell you what, it's hard. It's hard going next to a guy like Matt Fraser who blew through this so, well, let's say effortlessly. I mean, he worked his butt off, but the way he made it look. And Scott Panchik, one of the guys that is not afraid and has always done well against the best in the game.
No, he does. Scott is great at chasing the best of the best of the best. I mean, I guess part of me has to say that he's unlucky to have to be in that position, but it's always nice to have someone to push you and chase like that. But man, you're talking about a particular event that was designed for someone like Matt Fraser, that this is designed for Matt Fraser.
Scott Panchik on the left side of the rig. 2 more chest to bar pull-ups to go and 1 squat snatch waiting in the wings as Cole Sager on the right side is trying to get underneath that 20-minute cap as he is at 245.
And we can see just how much these guys have been breaking up all the pull-ups now. Scott was breaking up a lot. I really want Cole to be able to try to get through this. One of the things that I did see Cole do is he's really hanging on the bar longer than he needs to. When he wants to come off, he should just let go of the bar and drop.
Good lift for Cole Sager. He does have to get 1 more rep in. As Scott Panchik, 265, might have been the easiest lift of the night. He'll be done with 17.3. Sager under 245. And at 19:38, Cole Sager makes it to the final round. He has 4 minutes, the 24-minute mark 3 rounds, 11 chest to bar pull-ups, and 1 squat snatch at 265. We know he can do it. He's done it at the regional level.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't do it after 120 chest to bar pull-ups.
Those pull-ups they're grinding on him, and he needs to know that he could cut. He doesn't have a lot of time. However, he cannot make this be where the pull-ups crush him for his 1 snatch that he needs to do. So he needs to be smart. He needs to make sure that he keeps that rep set down, because look how long he's taking on these breaks. 2 sets of 2. 1, 2, drop. Give yourself a count. 1, 2, drop. Give yourself a count. That was a better let go of the bar right there. He released the second he touched his chest and dropped. Wasn't holding on. Again, we talked about that mental fortitude and being able to stick mentally into the game. I haven't seen Scott break. I haven't seen a change on his face where he got worried or concerned or like, ah, crap, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do that. This is getting hard. I'm showing frustration. He's just in his zone. And I mean, you know what? Hats off to his coach for being able to coach him to do that. He says that he has a difficult time. Cole says he has a difficult time of keeping those negative thoughts out of your head when things start getting tough. And the fact that he's had so many strong comebacks is a testament to the fact that he's able to really put those blinders on and just go to work, irregardless of what's happening around him.
Cole SAGER setting up for 265, just 10 pounds underneath his 1 rep max. You can see a little bit where fatigue's coming into play, but he got it pretty good off the floor.
He came up off the ground. Came up off the ground.
Top left corner of your screen is the time currently in 17:3, 24 minutes is the cap as San Antonio rallying around Cole SAGER.
That one was close. That one was close. Now you got to remember, in the regional event where they did the snatch slider, they had to hit this weight 2 times. We're upping that. They got to hit it 3. They had 11 minutes to get through that event with the 185, the 225, the 245, and then the 265. Cole finished in about 8.5 minutes, 8:25, I think it was. He can do this. Yes, there's been a lot of pull-ups involved in this. There's been a lot of extra squat snatching too. But Cole has that pop. That last step was really close. He's had to settle. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Just 1 minute remaining. And Bill, if you're the coach, kind of sitting back there, maybe one more opportunity.
You have one more chance. He has 45 seconds. What he needs to do now is he needs to wait all the way until to set himself up on the last 10 seconds. Give himself one more pull. I will say this, in the course of this event, getting one of these is going to be gigantic for his score, because this is going to be a big separator for a lot of guys. He needs to get this lift.
Cole SAGER, 20 seconds remaining. 1 lift, 1 final opportunity at 265. SAGER! Oh! 265!
Oh! That was awesome!
And I tell you what, it was nice to see the champ do what he does best, but that is what it is all about. Cole SAGER, the comeback kid, gets that 265.
That was amazing. And look how fired up is that. Man, that was good. The coach in me is all jittery. That was impressive. Oh, look at that. Fired up. And again, for him, it's not about where he finished. It's about how did he perform. And he did exactly. Look how fired up he is. He's happy that he hit that. That's what he wanted to get, was that 1 lift.
You're talking about a guy who went from 9th to 5th in 1 event to go to the CrossFit Games last year. Why did we ever doubt that guy? Cole SAGER, 265 at the buzzer.